Good morning.
Hey, Eric.
Hey, Chris.
What is an ODE?
It is an optical...
Is it Garfield's dog friend?
ODE, no, yeah, ODE and Normal were Garfield's primarily friend/antagonist, but the ODE is an optical drive emulator that is inside that Saturn that I gave you to play Panzer Dragoon with.
Yes.
We didn't really talk about that last time, but an optical drive emulator, I took out the optical drive that reads compact discs in that Saturn, and replaced it with the first ODE for the platform, which was called Phoebe and Ray.
Oh.
It's a relatively old ODE. There's better ones now called Fenrir, Satiator, Mode. Basically what that does is, rather than read optical discs, the Saturn I gave you now reads files from an SD card inserted into the Saturn. And then when you boot the Saturn, it'll bring up a big list of all the games on the SD card, which happens to be the full North American library and like 300 good Japanese games.
Yeah.
I don't know where I got those. They just happen to be on the card.
Oh, yeah. Well,
So you boot the Saturn, and it brings a big list of games, and you pick which game you want to play, and it plays it. And it's not
Emulating the game because it's on real hardware. It's reading the ROM files just as it would a compact disc. So you have like 500 perfect Saturn games on the Sega Saturn for your disposal, but you're only going to play probably 2 of them.
Cool. Yeah. Well, no, I'm going to play more than 2 of them, Eric.
All right,
I'm going to play Nights into Dreams.
Okay, use the 3D control pad, please.
Okay. And I
Beautiful game.
I
Play some Burning
definitely,
Rangers.
if it's on there, I want to check out the Saturn version of Dragon Ball Z Legends.
I'm pretty sure that's on there.
Because I've heard the Saturn version is better than the PlayStation version, but I have not seen this with my own eyes.
There should be some Gundam games on there as well.
Sure. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Gundam's cool. All the games are bad, but we'll see if we can enjoy any of them. Would you like to hear some hot sounds that Mark recorded? Welcome to Retrograde Amnesia, a comprehensive podcast where we discuss classic Japanese role-playing games, chapter by chapter, beat by beat. This is Season 4. We are covering Suikoden 2. This is episode 37 of the season, 15 of Suikoden 2. Don't know why I keep telling you that, but I am. My name is Chris. I'm joined today by Eric. Hello.
What's up, Chris? I'm drinking cold brew with water and not milk for this round.
Good morning from the Tekken Machine.
Good morning.
Yes.
Good morning.
We're also joined by the Real Net, a collective of patrons who are listening to us record live. You too can listen to us record live or watch us or whatever on YouTube at patreon.com/retroam. I'll probably remember to send you a notification.
We are also joined by the Fake Net, our post-production AI companion, who was also upgraded to 16-bit inside of Noah Copeland's take on Sonic Triple Trouble.
Initializing FakeNet.
Ha triple trouble. That's what I call us 3. Right, guys? We're a team. The 3 of us. Triple trouble for everyone.
What's that?
Triple
Fan
Trouble
game?
was a Game Gear game, and someone remade the game as if it were a 16-bit Genesis game.
Oh, cool.
It has all the problems of a 16-bit Sonic game, but it's also a masterful accomplishment by one person and should be downloaded for free and played because technically it's a fan game.
Yes. Cool. Thanks, Fake Net and Sonic, I guess.
And Noah Copeland.
And Noah Copeland.
And Noah Copeland.
So, Eric, we are in Redat Town.
We're trying to cope in this land.
Yeah. Yes. Trying to find our strategist. Every Suikoden game needs a strategist to tell us what to do because we are a little boy who can't speak.
Right.
So we need somebody who is intelligent, and we are off to find him in Redat Town. His name is Shu, and we've already explored Redat Town in the previous episode. Now we will head to Shu's house.
Yes. I get to the big house on the east side and we all party out. Apple seems impressed, so this is where Shu is. Whoa. Nanami then walks over to Ryo and says something insane. Hey, Ryo, so there's something going on between you and Shu, huh? What?
What?
Well, I think what's going on is that she's being like trying to nudge Ryo so they can have a chuckle about Apple. I think she's talking about Apple.
But she said Shu instead?
No, she's talking to Ryo about Apple and Shu having something going on. I think that was supposed to be communicated here.
Okay, all right.
Because Apple replies and says, let's just go in.
Yeah.
And I think Apple is...
Like Nanami gets the exclamation points over her head when Apple says, let's just go in.
Yeah.
So, okay, we're relocalizing the game based on thoughts and feelings.
Yes, we're just trying to unpack it. Yes, exactly.
It auto-walks me into this man's house. We come to a small room with green diamond pattern carpet and a table with 4 chairs, one facing 3. about to have a meeting.
Mhm.
The servant who tells me he will call his master. Nanami says this is a nice house. This is our first servant house in this game, like our first big rich guy house who has servants patrolling around.
Yeah, that's
Not
not
like a lot of group homes and shit so far.
that's not a government building because we've had like bouncers
The bouncer.
and servants in the government buildings, but never in someone's household.
Yeah.
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 A man with his right hand in his pocket walks in the door. He has long black hair and is wearing some kind of ornate North Carolina Tar Heels sky blue and white gear.
Okay.
With red highlights, gray sleeves.
I thought he was wearing painter overalls at first,
Possible.
but actually, when looking at his character art, he has like a very elaborate kind of jacket on that is two tones, like dark
Okay.
on the top and white on the bottom. So expensive coat wearing man.
He says, it's been a long time, Apple. Apple then walks over to Shu, then says his name between some dots. She's obviously surprised to see him in this state.
Mm-hmm.
Shu sits down at the table across from the three of us and says, I already know what you want, but go ahead and tell me anyway.
Damn.
Apple walks over to her seat at the table and replies, I want only one thing. I want you to join us. You must know what Luca Blight is up to. If Highland takes over this country, a lot of people will suffer. Please, Shu, please lend us your strength. She replies,
Yep, that's what I figured. You're right. Luca Blight is a blight on this land.
oh,
Should we relocalize that
fuck,
one?
man.
Luca
That had
Bl-
to happen at some point, right? Luca Blight is a blight on this land, like everyone groans at his shit.
So so maybe
Or could-
is this a reflection of Shu and his like
yeah, I was gonna say, like, is that intentional to see like he's like just a gray dipshit?
absolute dork?
Yeah. Like,
I don't
is
know.
that good strategy or bad? Is he calling balls and strikes? Like, what's going on?
He intends to crush the state. Apple continues to beg, but Shu says, I can't.
Do it.
Apple gets an exclamation point bubble. She can't believe this shit, it seems. Shu says, that's true, but to be honest, I don't really care which country is destroyed.
Apple also can't believe that shit.
She continues to not believe shit.
Mhm.
Shu says that he's a traitor now. I use my knowledge to predict shifts in the world's economy. It's the greatest way to get rich. This fucking guy is a fucking capitalist, the worst version. He's a crypto speculator, except he's rich. Rules change, borders change, countries change, but money is a constant. In fact, nothing better for business than a good war. My next note is, he's the worst.
Yeah.
Like, this is... So,
He's on Dick Cheney's squad to set up business in Iraq.
yeah, He's
I can't think of that name now.
he's the CFO of Halliburton.
That's it, Halliburton.
Yeah.
Very good.
So
Please tell me we kill Shu and eat him right
Th-
here.
this this contrasts with Matthew because Matthew is like his heart was out of it,
Yeah.
but or not. Yeah, his heart was out of fighting. He did not want to do a war anymore. But it wasn't necessarily because he was trying to get rich. He was trying to teach kids stuff in the village.
But like immediately Shu exposes why he was probably kicked out of being a strategist,
Yeah,
right?
military strategy in and of itself, like innately, is facts and logic.
Yeah.
But he has applied that to his
Economic principles.
yes, and also like his way of living. His heart is now all full of facts and logic, and he has no way to express himself otherwise.
There's no escape.
Can't do it.
No good.
Apple replies, so Shu, you are saying that even though you know what a monster Luca is, you're just going to ignore it. Shu says, in a word, yes.
Quick question.
Mhm.
I rescind my previous guess about this is why Matthew kicked him out. Do you think he became like this after Matthew kicked him out? Like he had no other means to develop his skill set other than become a capitalist.
Oh, so Shu is the great failure of Matthew.
Right.
Hmm.
Like, is it a chicken or egg thing with his current state? And I don't think we have enough information to know right now. I just want to think about like what made Shu like this.
I hate to reference the modern Star Wars trilogy,
Uh-huh.
but it's kind of like the relationship between Luke Skywalker and Adam Driver, whatever his name is, where
His greatest failure.
his greatest failure. Yeah. And is it his fault or is this just the way he is?
Yeah.
Who knows? But they will find
Nature
out.
versus nurture.
Yes. Apple says, how can you? Apple says Matthew was a real one and Shu fucking sucks. She says, you didn't learn anything from Master Matthew, did you? The master. ... Shu says, the master expelled me. Well, it was good seeing you again, I'm sure. Someone show them the way out.
Dude, someone.
Someone.
He doesn't even say his servant's name. Someone show them the way
One
out.
of you fuckers get these people out of my house.
My guy fucks off and we're back outside. We're out there. Apple was all dots. Nanami's like, Apple, Shu, massive L for Apple here, Chris. Apple's taking L's all fucking day.
Yes, Apple is at the lower points of her arc here.
Yeah.
Her arc has not started to ascend upward yet.
Yeah, I don't think she's bottomed out yet either.
No, we're still going down, actually. Apple had a baseline just because she was kind of a generic character from the first game, and she's been slowly going downwards ever since she started because of this is all a series of failures, and this is her one chance to redeem her failures at the Mercenary Fortress and otherwise.
Apple takes a step forward and speaks. Shu and I studied war tactics together under Master Matthew. Shu thought of me as his own sister, but even though Matthew warned him not to use his genius for wrong ends, he wound up being expelled. Master Matthew and Shu, they were both so important to me, but they couldn't get along, and we get a choice. There's nothing we can do, let's forget it, or there may be some way we can get him to change his mind.
Yes, I chose the latter.
My next note is I hope now is when we do the false flag. I don't know why I even wrote that.
Okay.
Apple replies, but that's true. Without Shu's help, there's no way we can stand up to Solon G. I hate to admit it, but I can't do it. It's no good.
No.
Let's get some more information.
Yeah.
It didn't really address what I said, but okay.
No. I kind of, like, this game's done this a couple times, but it leaves you at a point to where you're supposed to get more information, not say, let's go to X or let's go to Y.
Yeah.
It just says, like, yeah, go explore town some more and see what happens. Games tend to not do that as much anymore.
Did you speak to the guy in front of Shu's house after this?
No.
He says, please accept the job.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
What does that mean?
It could be...
Please accept my master's word that you can't come in?
Yeah. I'm sure it's probably a mistranslation or a contextless translation, but yeah, I guess. I don't know.
I go to the tavern. When I try to leave, who walks in the front door?
Shu and his lot come barging in. He says, Apple, are you still here? I think you know this, but Highland will be here sooner or later. Apple knows this, but she ain't leaving until this fucko joins us.
Chris, is this going to be a successful negotiation tactic
What, just hanging around?
until he joins?
I don't think so,
It's no good.
but we've got to figure a way out. Shu says, so what are you going to do? Are you willing to get down on your knees and beg?
Is he aggravated or perverse?
He's a pest of a man,
Okay.
I think. It's a good question. I think he's perverse, but whether or not he's being perverse here for a reason or whether or not this is his nature is unclear.
Like, does he naturally want her to demean herself in front of him, or is that like what he's specifically looking for from Apple because like she was Matthew's chosen student?
I feel like with the path that we're on with Shu, like obviously he's going to become the strategist. Like this is going to resolve somehow, but at this point in the game, I'm thinking that Shu is going to be the character that we end up discussing his personality and his choices the most throughout the rest of this podcast. That's just the way I feel because if you think back to the first game, like after Matthew joined, he's kind of the guiding hand for the whole game. And if Shu is going to eventually fill that role, how are we going to get from where we are right now to where he's the guy? Will we?
Because like right, he's still digging his hole for me to respect him too.
Yeah. Apple spits dots. She says, if that's what it takes. I tell Apple to stop doing this, but she says she doesn't mind, and she gets down on her knees and begs with her own unique animation.
Chris, pardon my brain, but is this a BJ that was localized out?
No, I don't.
Like get down on your knees and beg?
I pardon
in front of me?
Yes, I think it's more of a, it's an East, it's an Eastern thing.
Kneeling.
I don't know what the cultural significance of it is, but I feel like you see this in. This is my response to everything. I feel like you see this in anime, so it's probably an Eastern thing.
Okay, great, yeah.
Which is probably not a well-reasoned thought, but I feel like I've seen it before.
Apple then says, it's okay, I don't mind, after I say stop it. Apple then walks over in front of Shu and drops to her knees. She does the we're not worthy pose, begging, I beg of you, please help us, we need you. Shu says Apple's name. I think he can't believe she's actually doing this, but Apple continues. Please, please, I'm begging you, we need your strength, Shu. Her sprite is dipping lower and lower. By strength, she means money or influence or strategic mind.
I think...
All the above?
No, I think just his mind. That's all she wants is his mind.
Shu turns back on Apple and then gurs. I'm leaving. I'm not thirsty anymore. Apple, have you lost your pride as one of Matthew's disciples? You should be ashamed. Shu, you fucking moron. She's desperate and you're a piece of shit.
Yes.
So game doing great to make you hate Shu at the moment right now, which is a kind of a contrast that like everything isn't just falling into place for us. We got to fight for this stuff.
Right.
Apple raises her head, she blinks a few times and says, no, you should be ashamed. Of course, I don't like to dirty myself on the ground before you begging like a dog. But if necessary, I can throw away my vengeful pride. That's what I learned from Master Matthew.
I have vainful pride. I'm pretty sure it is vainful because I looked up vainful, and vainful is not a word.
Okay.
Like full of vanity.
I get that, but I'd never heard that word before.
Yeah, it's not like
real.
Like it was unrecognized by the Microsoft dictionary.
Nice.
Let's put it that way. I have three words written after this paragraph, or after this dialogue. Get his ass.
Yeah.
Because I hate that Apple has to do this, but I love that Apple is doing it because it is her last ploy to redeem her previous failures. I'm saying get his ass, but usually when you say get his ass, like they're not actually getting their ass. That person's probably just been like, whatever.
Yeah.
But I think his ass has been gotten at least a little bit.
A little bit. A little bite on his ass.
Yes. He's got nothing for this, and he turns around and leaves.
Yeah. He walks out the door, then Nanami moves over to Apple and tells her that's enough. Apple nods, stands up, then turns around to face her peers. No, even if there's a tiny chance, please stay with me just a little longer, Rio, and we get a choice. It's no use, let's go back, or, okay, you're right. Tell Apple she's right. She thanks me, then says it looks like Shu is going to avoid us from this point on. She wonders what we should do, and we get control.
I tested it out a little bit to see if I could say, let's go back, and the invisible hand of destiny will get your ass here.
Okay.
And send
So you have to keep.
Yeah.
I head south.
Yeah, down out here by the appraisal shop, and we meet that shady guy we saw.
That shifty-looking motherfucker.
Yes, named Richmond. He's wearing a pink shirt underneath a long overcoat. He has messy hair and a cigarette.
They're forcing the noir thing in for some reason right now.
And is a square-ass jaw also a noir thing?
I mean, kind of.
A strong-chinned man?
Yeah, but like they're like with the pink shirt, like it's noir, but you can tell he's really young too. So he's into playing this part as music.
Yes.
Dandy Richmond plays.
Yes, indeed. And let's also remember that we pointed out in the previous episode that he has a kitten in his overcoat pocket, which is...
Is he the only character with his own named theme song in this video game?
As far as I know.
God.
I mean, some songs are kind of associated with, like that morning song is kind of associated with Nanami a little bit, but like...
It's not called Good Morning Nanami.
No, it's not.
My dude says, aha, I know about the three of you. You're Rio, that's your adopted sister Nanami, and that's Apple, student of Matthew. Am I right? We get a choice.
I said, you're wrong.
Yeah, what did he say?
He backs up and he gives me like the talk to the hand pose and says, tisk tisk. You don't think you can pull one over on Richmond, the greatest private eye in Redat, do you?
He pretty much says the same thing if you say.
Yep.
Correct.
He points to himself with his thumb. He says, I can find out anything. This dude says that he knows that we're here to get Shu the traitor to join our cause. He says, quote, yes, I know about the scene in the tavern. Do you want to hire me to help? I need 1,500 poch up front. Then I'll get you some good information on Shu.
It's chump change to me, Chris.
Yeah, I know. I've been fighting bad guys for a while.
We get a choice. Either give it to him or tell him it's too pricey. I have so much money, so I give it to him. I don't try to negotiate like I did with that bracelet back in whatever. Or that was that wooden thing that Pilica wanted for the amulet?
Yeah, the wooden amulet, yeah.
Richmond says to leave it to him and tells me to go back to the inn and relax. Quote, I always do what I promise. That's a promise from Richmond. I'll find you when I get the info. The inn is, oh yeah, the fuck house inn, of course.
What?
I know. They have great soup. Try it.
I'm a little confused about that. I got the Torin Inn because that was the name of my castle. So they've named that inn after the castle, but I don't...
Yes. Like if you didn't listen to our Suikoden 1 series, I named my castle Fuckhouse.
Yeah.
And it did all capital letters. Like it imported my save data. And I was like, why?
I mean, I understand like how... like that it did that, but why is this inn in Redat Town named after the Liberation Army castle?
Like that's just so weird.
Yeah, it is strange.
Will we ever be allowed to eat this soup, Chris? He said they have great soup.
You don't need soup.
Huh?
You don't need soup.
Well, no. He said the inn. They had the Fuckhouse Inn, of course. They have great soup. Try it.
Do we get to eat it in the
great
game?
Soup?
No.
You're right. Eric, don't eat soup.
Yes.
You are correct.
Well, I figured that like Rio as your proxy also does not
I
like
wouldn't
soup.
volunteer for that. That you would go hungry.
Okay.
I do that. I go to the inn. I go back to sleep.
Shy Guy 32 shows us a picture of Richmond in his full character artwork, and I was mistaken. It is not a kitten. It is a little shaggy dog.
Ugh.
So.
Ew.
Yeah. Sorry.
Gross. The innkeeper tells me Richmond told her we can rest on the second floor of Fade to Black. Noise. Someone sparks flint and lights some shit.
Yeah. It's flickering. We've got the flicker animation going on here.
All black screen, candlelit figure is visible. It's Richmond. He says it was a success.
Yeah, he's snuck into our bedroom in the middle of the night.
The lights come up and he appears to be in our room. Nanami screams at him, asking him who he is. She gets out of bed and jumps, asking Richmond, who she barely remembers, how he got in there. My dude tells her to calm down and says he came to give a report. Nanami can't believe this shit, then tells Richmond he hasn't really done anything. Richmond replies, hey, pretty lady, why would this hard-boiled private eye Richmond do something like that?
I have a question.
Uh-huh.
when they say hard boiled,
Noir shit.
yeah, but like, what is the etymology of calling like private eyes and cops hard boiled?
Like to me, without looking that up, I picture hard boiled as been like hardened by life, like has seen some shit, doesn't have time to waste, gets to the point very quickly, does work quickly and efficiently. Like might stab your mother just to get information. Like got like a violent streak to them, like hard boiled.
Ah,
Like eggs are soft. When you hard boil them, they firm up and are a little bit tastier.
okay. So
Subjectively.
hard boiled equals has seen some shit.
Yes.
And-
Fake net, what is your definition of hard boiled?
Initializing fake net.
Hard-boiled is documented as being first used by Twain in 1886 as an adjective meaning emotionally hardened. Apparently, Twain and others saw the boiling of an egg to harden the white and yolk as a metaphor for other kinds of hardening. Obviously, nothing will ever harden either of you two white yokels.
Apple gets out of the other bed, groggy as hell, and wonders what's going on, then tells Richmond not to make such a fuss. So Apple just like, yeah, of course Richmond is here. Shut the fuck up, man.
I think Apple's out of it.
Yeah. Could be a dream for Apple. Richmond replies that he is good about getting the job done quick. It looks like Shu is avoiding you, but there's an important trade tomorrow night. Shu has to be able to attend. The trade will be at the port east of here. If you wait at the bridge, you'll be able to get the jump on him. Chris, how does that information help us? Was illicit localized as important? There's an important trade. Like is Shu going out making an illicit trade on a bridge in the middle of the night? Who the fuck makes trades in the middle of the night?
I don't think this actually. Did he say middle of the night? Oh, he does say tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night, yeah.
Oh, so Shu's doing stuff like.
Like, do you think he's doing like all capitalists of Shu's wealth surely are in some shady shit? Is this shady shit Shu's about to do?
Yeah, he's trying to keep. Maybe this is like an off the books trade.
Yeah.
To skirt taxes or something.
Right.
Because he doesn't care about country, right?
No, of course not.
So why'd you care about taxes?
Chris, what was your last important trade?
My last important trade.
What did you trade and get something important for? You can say something you traded money for, but ideally, what something did you trade? Did you trade your time for something? Did you trade your talent for something?
I don't know if this is my last important trade, but I can think of an important trade that I made in the past.
Yeah.
Which I don't think this was good on my end, but it got
So you lost this trade.
it got me what I needed at that moment in my life. So I traded a copy of Rock and Roll Racing,
Mm-hmm. Blizzard Entertainment.
yes, and I think cash for a inbox copy of, I think it was called Dragon Ball Z. Oh no, it was Dragon Ball Z Budokan 2 for the Super Nintendo,
What
Super
the
Famicom.
Fuck.
Still have it.
But yeah, but it's Rock and Roll Racing's good. Chris, Richmond says that's the end of his job, then he fucks off.
Mhm.
The next day, the whole party is gathered outside the inn as music, Beautiful Morning plays.
Do you think Richmond already knew that shit and just
Yeah.
got 1,500 pots
Yeah,
from us?
yeah,
because
he
he
didn't
showed
do
up. He showed up like 6 hours later.
Like, he already knew that she would turn us down before we even knew really what happened.
yeah.
Like, he already knew about this trade. Yeah, that's how he makes his money. Apple asks what Nanami meant by wait by the bridge, which seems pretty obvious to me, Chris. I think you're supposed to wait by the bridge.
Yeah.
Nanami chastises Apple for not remembering. Apple was groggy. Nanami tells her that's okay, we should go wait by the bridge. Jesus. Music, her sigh resumes, and guess what? We go wait by the bridge.
Yeah, and once we get to the bridge, the music is off.
Yeah, there's flowing water instead.
Yes, there's a man in a yellow shirt here who says that they're the boatsmen who run this river. He says, we do tours, we carry cargo here and there, it's easy business.
Some guy asks what we want, calls us landlubbers.
Yeah, it's great. I love being a landlubber.
Shirtless guy in boxing shorts with a ponytail tells me about the burnt-out Merc fort north of here.
This is just a boatman convention out here, is it?
Just hanging out, doing boat shit, moving stuff around, working the port.
Yep. It fades out and fades back in. We're standing in the middle of the bridge. Nanami says that it's starting to get cold, but then something happens. To the left, Shu and his cronies are standing there as the camera pans over slightly. We run up, and he hits us with a preemptive, there's nothing left to talk about.
He's not surprised that we're here, which is a sign of confidence, I guess. So of course you're here.
Yeah. Apple says she's not giving up. Shu says, Apple, listen carefully. It's a war you're trying to get me involved with. How to kill. That's what you and I studied. In the last battle, Victor's fort was burned to the ground because your strategy failed. How many people died? Do you even know?
Oh, now Mr. Money is a moralist?
Yeah.
Also,
Fuck.
that's
Yeah.
that's a pretty good question that you don't usually ask your RPG protagonist. It's like when the villain of Uncharted 2 asked Drake if he even knew how many people he killed.
Yeah,
It's like
or-
you're not supposed to call attention to that shit.
Yes, or the river in Metal Gear Solid 3.
Yeah. But this is before that. I don't remember games asking the player questions like this in 1999.
Yeah.
Games that I played.
I think by the nature of the way this game is political, it's innate, and they're not ignoring it, which is
Yeah.
good. Which is good.
Apple replies, yes, I know. I was weak and ineffective. That's exactly why we need your help. That's the thing where your incompetence is so profound, the person who actually knows how to do it assumes you'll never be able to do it at their level, and they just do it anyway, like me with my laundry when I met my wife.
Yes.
Why is the towel just standing straight up? Okay, Shu replies to that with, if your strategy had been successful, it would also have meant the loss of life. Can you really bear that burden? Great question.
It is a good question, but also, we've talked about this before, but there's a clear aggressor in this war.
Yeah.
And
yeah, we're more on defense rather than offense.
Yeah, and that makes...
Mercs are always available for offense.
That's true. That's true. It makes that particular choice here a little clearer, I think.
Shu takes a shiny item out of his pocket and it sparkles.
Excuse me, not shiny, a blinging item.
A blinging, yeah, it blings. I've got a gold coin here. It's the kind I use when I'm trading the island countries south of the Tauren Republic.
Oh, you mean the location of Suikoden 4?
Yes.
I think.
I don't know.
I think that's where Suikoden 4 takes place. Yeah.
My dude throws it off the bridge.
Yeah.
It plops. If you can find that coin, I'll join your side. Man, what the fuck is this?
Excuse me, not plops, it plunks.
Plunks?
Plunks.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just correcting your onomatopoeias today.
I don't. Plop to me implies there's some wetness, and plunk to me is more of a thud. I'll fight you on that one.
Can you... But doesn't everything thud when it first hits the water if it's going 32 feet per second?
No, because there's always the plop noise. Like there's no like a plunk noise. Like kerplunk the game, that's marbles and sticks. You don't plop, you kerplunk. I think you plunk something when it hits a hard surface, and don't give me that shit about water being hard at surface tension. It definitely plops.
I lost track of what you're saying, so you win.
Okay.
Congratulations.
Won that one. Where did God, that fucked me out of my... We get a choice, but the water is freezing or dots. Apple asked if that's really a promise, finding this coin. She was like, yeah, but only if you find the coin. My dude then walks away. All of this was very hard.
He's acting like a badass, but actually he's a fuck.
Yeah, this is true. Like, he's just given her an impossible task for more ways than one. Nami calls it like she sees it. Hey, that's impossible. We'll never find that coin. Let's go home. Me, Victor, and the others will have come up with a good plan. Okay?
Has Victor ever had any good ideas? I think Victor maybe had one good idea in this game, and that was when they threw all the fire spears, and that was into the furnace.
Boiler, yeah.
But even that was a risky endeavor.
Well, he got us out of the dine and dash thing at the diner in Suikoden 1.
Yeah, but we don't know that shit. Yeah, Victor's good at stealing from local businesses.
Which is what she runs. Apple won't hear it. No, I'm going to find that coin. First, we have to stop the flow of the water. Let's go for that sluice gate up ahead. Mm-hmm. Nami hits her with dots, and there's a lot of sluice gates in JRPGs, Chris.
There are. Gotta have puzzles.
Are sluice gates merely extensions of the time to sewer? Because sewers imply sluice gates are also in play.
Yes.
Are they linked? Are they one? We'll be in a sewer soon, Chris. I go and talk to that landlubbers guy from earlier, and we get a choice. We will later learn this guy's name is Jin.
Yes.
I know you. Could you please close the sluice gate? I ask him the second one because I'm not a goddamn moron, and he says that's a funny joke, kid.
Yeah, he's laughing in our faces.
The gate only gets closed a couple times a year for very special reasons. There's no way I'm closing it now, okay? Now go on home. It's past your bedtime, kid. Apple begs him to reconsider, and he replies, You don't hear too well, little girl. Don't make me give you a spanking.
Ew.
You don't want to get hurt, do you? Apple, who I'm now convinced hates herself, replies, You can hurt me if you want, but close the sluice gate.
Apple's desperation is well communicated in this entire sequence.
Just do whatever for the end cause. Nanami runs over and appears to tug at the back of Apple's shirt, stuttering when she says Apple's name and telling her to just give up.
Do we not realize that we have a band of warriors with us?
Right? Just bully this guy? Yeah, where's like Ulan to come out and like bully this asshole? Out of nowhere, a voice says, Hey, you should take that little girl's advice.
Yeah.
The portrait of a brashing hero emerges. A real Steven Seagal, but with a Sergeant Slaughter chin.
Mm-hmm.
This is Amada.
Yes.
Amada,
Dr. Amada from Binary Domain.
He
Bad
says,
guy.
What's the trouble, Jin? Jin explains our deal, and Amada replies that he'll take care of it. Apple begs him to close the sluice gate for one day or one night. Amada thinks about it, then says he can't just close the gate for no reason. Quote, if someone's life was in danger, or some other emergency, it would be different. But Apple finds a way in. Many people's lives depend on it. We must stop the Highland Army.
Yes.
He fires off dots, then question marks, then says, Listen, little lady, I don't think the sluice gate has anything to do with war. We get a choice. Forget about it or please. And I'm like, just explain what we have to do.
Yeah. I accidentally said forget about it.
Oh, God, what happened?
It just gives you control back, and then you have to go through like half this conversation again.
Ask him over again?
Yeah.
Visible Hand of Destiny.
Mm-hmm.
I pick please, and Rio walks up to Amada and says, Please, My dude replies, wow, oh, you're serious. The man said, please. I got a weak spot in my heart for hardworking kids like you. Sir, I've killed.
Can I use this as an additional proof for my theory that boatmen have the special ability to see the special boy eyes of destiny?
Yeah, sure.
Like Taiho for him?
Yeah. Understand what's at stake here. Okay, here's what I'll do. I'll fight you for it.
His version of rolling dice is fighting.
Yeah. I would rather fight than play on that dice game again. If you win, that means you're for real, and I'll close the gate. How about? Want to try? Grown man has a weak spot in his heart for kids, and his response is to beat the shit out of them. Mm-hmm. We get a choice. Forget about it, or I'll do it.
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 And I thought it was going to be like a mini game. No, we're 1v1ing this guy in the special fight sequence. I knew you'd go for it. I've got a good eye for character. You look like a tough kid. Now you and I will fight like men. Time for confrontation plays. Amada says, okay, boy, here I go. I defend. Then I use wild attack. I take him down in 2 hits. Chris, what'd you do?
Also took him down in 2 hits.
Yeah.
I do like how we are getting, in this game, a succession of duels.
Yeah.
Like, first we had the little kind of training duel with Flick, and now we're having this guy who's only armed with a boat oar.
Yeah.
Instead of, in Suikoden 1, our first 1v1 was against one of the 5 great generals.
Yeah.
Now we're slowly building our way up to that. Ryo's experiences are being kind of slowly played up to the point to where there's going to be I'm sure there's going to be some sort of epic duel later in the game.
Yeah.
And having these small duels along the way, I think
Fighting
helps,
a guy to close a gate.
yeah, helps build that up. It also helps you know what you're doing. Did you notice that after you finish him off that Ryo does a cool sick pose?
No.
He does he spins his tonfa and blings it or something.
Yeah.
I don't think he can bling, but
A cool sick pose, if you will.
yes, a cool / cool pose. I don't think that he did that against Flick, but I could be wrong.
Which isn't taunt Flick. He only taunts those he disrespects.
He only taunts shirtless boatmen.
Flowing water noises resume. After the battle, Amada says, ouch, hey, sorry, I guess you were serious. What do I do now? Well, a promise is a promise, but only for one night, okay? Which you can interpret that a lot of different ways.
Yeah.
Jin asked Amada if the shit is really okay to do, and Amada replies, huh? Yeah, these guys have a good reason. It must be pretty important. Well, anyway, it's my responsibility, okay, Jin? Fucker? Jin says he gets it, but it sure is strange. Amada then throws a switch and lowers the sluice gate. Apple walks over to Ryo, making sure he's okay and not hurt. Apparently, she didn't see me beat the holy fuck out of this grown-ass man.
Also, in relation to the perception of Ryo's power amongst his teammates here, has he showed anybody the Bright Shield rune yet?
That's a good question.
Does anybody know?
He hasn't.
Or does it or has he discussed the importance of this? Who knows?
Is Nanami protective, anxious, or the voice of the audience? She seems to be all of these things when it comes to Ryo.
Yeah, I think we're playing the overprotective big sister thing, but also she's becoming weary of all of the shit that we've had to go through in us kind of...
Never going to find a mud coin?
Yeah, slowly becoming the protagonist of this war. I think Nanami sees the path that we're on and she doesn't like it because she fears for her brother.
How long did it take you to find where we're supposed to go?
4 seconds.
Okay, it took me forever to find this side of this bridge.
I had wandered down there before, so I kind of know what they're talking about. So you had a hard time finding the water margin.
Oh, God. Some stairs lead us to a riverbank.
Yep.
Nami says the water is pretty cold. Apple doesn't give a shit, saying we have to hurry up. Quote, it'll be daybreak soon, as soon as this water level drops. So I guess it takes a while once the gates close for it to dry up. Fade to black.
Crickets.
There's also the sound of slushing in the background, signaling Apple's search.
Yeah. Did you also notice that on screen we can see fireflies lighting up?
Yeah.
It looks really good.
We're in the riverbank. Small pools of water reflect the night sky, and like Chris said, tons of fireflies. Apple's digging through the muck while everyone else watches. She kneels and runs her hands through it. Nanami asks, also it's weird that we're just watching Apple do this shit rather than help.
Yeah.
Which that plays into a plot point in a second, but it struck me as odd. Nanami asks Apple if she's starting to get cold. And Apple tells Nanami she's fine, and she can go back to the inn if she wants. We get a choice. I'll help too, or, okay, see you later. And I'm like, is this another waiting outside of Muse thing where I can just abandon someone to do the work?
Yeah, it's true.
I say I'll help too, and then we're all in the muck looking for this shit. Nanami seems frustrated. Hey, enough already. We'll never find it, I tell you. Ryo and Apple keep looking. Nanami waits a minute, then screams, hey, we'll never be able to find it. I saw the whole thing.
What?
Yeah, Apple looks up and saw what?
Yeah, Nanami says, when Shu threw the coin, I saw it. That man replaced it with a stone just before he threw it. It happened so fast, I wasn't sure what I saw, but that's why we'll never be able to find it.
Eat the rich, let's go eat Shu.
Has Nanami been trying to tell us this for a while?
Yeah, I don't know I don't know why you would withhold this information.
The localization doesn't make it apparent on whether or not she was trying to deliver this information and we were kind of shushing her, or if she's just having a hard time getting this out? Or is she making this up because she knows this is pointless, or thinks this is pointless, or wants to get us off the path of the protagonist? Not sure. Apple says this isn't true. And then Amy spits dots.
It fades to black. When it comes back up, the reflection of the full moon is now visible in the black water, so we've been out here for a while.
Yes. Apple says, it's fine. You can go home. It's fine. I knew it wouldn't be easy. Shu wasn't even willing to give me a fair chance. But I didn't want to believe it. That's why, please go back to the end.
Chris, is "it's fine" the most passive-aggressive phrase in the English language for American culture?
It's fine.
It's fine.
It's fine. I don't give a shit. Do whatever you want.
Don't worry about it. It's fine. I got it. It's fine. Just do whatever you want. It's fine.
Maybe probably 80% of the time it's used.
Okay.
Like it depends on tone and context, but yes, I think you're right. I think
it's
you're
fine
right.
is okay, but
Yeah.
no, it's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Fine. It's fine. I just deleted the whole podcast. It's fine.
It's fine.
Yeah, we'll just do it again. Anyway.
Nanami tells Apple not to say that. Rio walks over to something and then it blinks. He then yanks it up out of the water.
Yeah.
Nanami fires off dots, then question marks. Apple's excited too. Nanami screams, "It's true? Is it true?" Fade to black, and when it comes back up, the gang is gathered around Rio. Nanami says, "That's it. That's really the coin." Apple is in disbelief. Nanami celebrates. What was that shit about a rock? Was Nanami making it up so they could go home?
That's what I was trying to figure out earlier. I'm not sure. It's weird. I think hold that question.
Okay.
I think.
Apple comes to grips with what this means, what Shu now has to do. The camera then pans over at the foot of the stairs to the creek as music
Relaxation BGM 1 or heart softening BGM 1.
and Shu says Apple's name. She says his. My dude gets down in the shit. Apple tells him the promise. Shu replies, yes, the promise. Shu approaches Apple and gets face to face with her. You were so cold to me. Why did you have to? And Apple tells Shu it was necessary.
Is this like a
reconciliation thing?
was it necessary to gaslight the fuck out of Apple
Yeah.
this whole time?
Yeah.
Also, was he standing here watching?
Yeah. Was he observing from the bridge where they couldn't see him?
If this scene was designed to redeem Shu slightly, like even 10%,
It didn't. It's not very effective.
it's not. Apple says it was necessary for some reason. Shu says, you're a strong woman. I may have inherited Master Matthew's brain, but you inherited his heart. Is that a backhanded compliment?
Yeah, he just called her stupid.
Yeah.
Stupid.
I think Apple should have...
Listen, I'm the smart one, but you can feel. What? I mean, Apple has kind of just whiffed on a few important tests of strategy here, so whatever. But
She has, but this was her opportunity to say, yeah, maybe you're right, but also you're fully admitting to being an asshole.
Mhm.
Apple says, so... Then she responds, yes, leave it to me. I'm worth more than 100,000 soldiers, and I'm on your side now. Jesus. Apple thanks him. If this is all it took for Shu to agree to do this, is Shu a psychopath or a narcissist or both?
definitely a narcissist.
Okay.
Psychopath, I'm not sure if there's a violent streak in that, but
yeah.
I think if the right person impresses him with their gall or resolve or what they're willing to do in front of him, he'll just join whatever side. I don't know.
Are you saying that Apple's the girl with the gall?
I've heard that so many times. I've heard that shit so many
I
times.
turned the voices down a little bit so I wouldn't hear it quite as well.
Oh.
I'm the girl with the gall.
Shu then walks over to Rio, who's holding the coin. Shu asks to see it, then notices something else. Stutters. That rune on your right hand. Your name's Rio, right? You wouldn't be Master Genkaku's son, would you? Nami's like, Shu, how do you know that name? Because everybody knows this dude's name.
Yeah.
My guy says, I see. There aren't many left to recall, but the name of Master Genkaku has a special meaning for the city-state. This is the fifth guy to tell us this.
Yeah, and no one, how has this secret history been suppressed? I mean, did Highland burn all the books?
Yeah,
we didn't
never
live.
learn this.
Yeah, we didn't live in this country. There's been border skirmishes and wars going on for a long time. So is it possible that Highland's Minister of
Truth
has burned this out of all schooling?
I mean, given what happens later, I've already learned who Genkaku is from of all people.
Yeah.
Probably bleep that. But yeah, I think so. Someone is ashamed. Shu, like Annabelle before him, defers. We'll talk about it after the war. Right now, we have to worry about defeating Solanji and his troops. Rio, I want to thank you for saving Apple. Between you and that rune on your hand, we might just have a chance to win this war. Shu joins the group.
So, a couple things. Shu acknowledged the Bright Shield rune, which had actually been bothering me for a while because no one had said anything. And even though I'm using this in battle, no one's like, where'd you get that shit out of? Because I would assume that most magics are well documented, at least in him having these healing spells that no one else has access to.
I guess everyone with the common runes I think of those as tattoos. And there are certain ones that you just recognize and see all the time in this society. And you see somebody with one you've never seen before, like Rio, and you're like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. This scene is almost over, so let's finish this scene and then do Shu and Apple.
Shu then says, but this coin. The camera then pans up all the way up to the bridge. A trench-coated figure is standing on it. He turns his back and flips a coin. It's Richmond. He catches the coin in his hands and holds his hand out, then says, ha, another job well done. This whole scene's very cool, but it doesn't make any goddamn sense.
No, so many questions began rushing into my brain when I was playing this, and Mr. Slyke was there on the stream, and I think encapsulates all of the questions that this scene triggers, brings up, whatever. So I'll read some of these questions here, and we can talk through them. Did Richmond throw a coin in there because Shu didn't?
I think so, but then like Shu doesn't know that we know that he didn't actually throw a coin, so he must be like playing it off that we actually found the goddamn coin.
Yeah. So did...
Like, what the hell?
Did he... So he did throw a rock, and Richmond threw a coin.
Yeah.
Rio found Richmond's coin.
Apparently.
Shu gave us
a life-altering decision based on the coin that he didn't throw. I have no idea what's happening. Everybody's just playing shit off, trying not to be like appear as liars.
Did Richmond fuck over Shu?
And then change the course of the video game?
Yes, and thus...
This dandy Richmond?
If the answer to that is yes, then what is Richmond's motive? Is Richmond manipulating politics and war by throwing the coin into the sluice gate?
Is Richmond the mastermind?
Is Richmond
Richmond smarter than Shu?
Is Richmond Darth Jar Jar Binks?
Possibility. I think there's ample evidence to make that argument.
Flip Minix says, I think we're supposed to interpret it as Shu didn't throw the coin, but Richmond snuck a coin in to help us because he knows Shu is a jack-off.
Well, yeah, but Shu just having the obligation to be like, oh, like, I need more information.
Richmond is the invisible hand of destiny.
Ooh, good one.
But we still don't understand what Richmond's stake is.
But his hands are visible. He caught the coin in his hand.
It's true. Lots to unpack here, and I think we won't land on too many intelligent answers until we get deeper in the game. But before we get deeper in the game, Eric, you want to do some profile stuff?
Yeah.
Let's do Shu first, I guess, since we just joined him. He just joined us. Shu is the Tinky star, the star of wisdom. That is the same star always occupied by the primary strategist of Suikoden games, which they all have one. He's the military strategist, as we know. In war battles, he is a support unit. He is the strongest support character in the war tactics battles and can always be sided with Rio and Nanami despite him being a strategist to the group. When he uses that critical skill, he will say, victory is in sight, everyone advance. That's his version of see the power of the science, I think. When he uses his evade skill, he will say, now you'll see why I was Matthew's favorite student, which isn't true, right? Like Matthew expelled him.
Well, you can still hate your favorites, right?
Yeah. So those are his two tactics. His wounded quote is all dots. His death quote is, it shouldn't end like this, but Shu is not able to die in the game. Investigations, secrets. Are you starting to understand where we get these secrets from now?
Yeah.
A little bit. Should we play Dandy Richmond during these now? Secret number 1, Shu is age 26. He's from unknown, and his position is the army strategist. Secret number 2 is with Shu's critical ability, a successful hit in war will sometimes cause double damage to the enemy unit. Secret number 3, Shu studied military tactics under Matthew, but he's expelled for using his knowledge for selfish gain. He never saw Matthew again after that day. So he traded on the stock market, and then Matthew was like, fuck off. Insider trading, motherfucker. Secret number 4, he thinks of Apple like a little sister, but he's such a cool customer, he never lets his true feelings show. So I think that maybe gives us a little bit of information about why Nanami thought there was a romantic connection between the two, but actually it's maybe this brotherly, sisterly thing that they both don't acknowledge. So he makes no suggestions in the suggestion box, as you might assume. He hasn't got no.
Yeah, he doesn't have time for that shit.
Yeah, he's in charge anyway.
He tells you what he thinks. There's no box, no anonymity. Hell.
The cook-off introduction. The bright young strategist of the Dunnan Army, which I guess is the default name, is a man who appreciates good Chinese food. It's Lord Shu. And that's all I've got for Shu.
I feel like all the Chinese food around here tops out at medium quality.
I mean, you can get some really good like Vietnamese food here,
yes.
And some other like Eastern Asian foods around here, but like I can't think of any good Chinese spots. And that's all I got for Shu. Ready for Apple?
Yep.
We've held off on Apple because her secrets deal with the coin episode a little bit, so I wanted to make sure we didn't spoil that. Apple is the Chifuku star, the hiding star. So once we get her HQ, her particular HQ service is that when you speak with Apple, she can help you rearrange your army battle units. So you can change which characters are paired with who during the war battles once we get some more custom ability options. She is a support unit. When she uses the evade skill, she will say, "Here they come. Everyone do as we practiced." Her wounded quote is not yet. Her death quote is, "Matthew." That's just there in the coding. Her investigation stuff. Secret number 1. Her name's Apple. Not sure if you knew that or not. Her age is 18. She's from Seika. Her position is the vice strategist. Secret number 2. After her parents died in the war between the Scarlet Moon Empire and the city-state of Joustin, she was given a scholarship to study under the great Matthew along with Shu. Something we didn't know about Apple. Secret number 3. When Torin's war for liberation started, she was studying in the Crystal Valley in Harmonia, but she left right away to help her master Matthew. So that's what was going on before she showed up at his house looking for him. Secret number 4. Apple first met Shu when she was just 11. She had no parents and was pretty taken by him. Kind of like a schoolgirl crush, I guess. That's all the secrets for Apple. This is the first mention of Crystal Valley, I think, in anything that we've covered in the game, and I don't know what Crystal Valley is, but I do know that the second Suikoden game is called Duel at Crystal Valley. So
Nice.
Please look forward to it, I guess. Suggestion box. Thank you. Lord Rio, I'll never forget how you helped me find the coin that day at the river. Thank you. It's not a suggestion. Cook-off introduction. According to Apple, she likes something called French food. It's Apple.
France confirmed in game.
And China, France, everything. It's great. That's all I've got for Apple. Apple, thank you for joining the team.
So it fades to black on Richmond. It comes back and her sigh resumes, and we're in Radat somewhere, talking to the full party. Apple is giving us a status report on Shu. Quote, "He has lots to take care of. It was so sudden, it might take some time. He wants us to go ahead without him, so let's go." Nanami then asks a valid question. "Are you sure? He might be trying to trick us again." Apple then lies or hopes for the best or something, because then she says, "It's okay. Shu isn't that kind of person. Let's go, Rio. Shu is that kind of person." Do you think he's honest to his word, or he's just been like deception in games and lies and non-conformance the entire time?
I don't know if he is actively deceptive, like he knows he's being deceptive, but all this fucking shit is a game to him.
Yeah.
As evidenced by the fact that he just said he didn't care who was going to win the war 20 minutes ago, and now he's on our side. Like, this is just a fucking game.
We party up and we're off. We're going to go back to North Window in the scary as hell abandoned vampire castle in the dead town where we've set up a base for some reason.
Yes, it's true.
And you can catch us on the next episode of Retrograde Amnesia Season 4, Part 2, Suikoden 2.
Something, episode 16, I think, maybe. Let's consult the RealNet, Eric.
Yeah.
Initializing RealNet.
Hello, RealNet. Good morning, RealNet. Good afternoon, RealNet, wherever you are. Shy Guy 32 says the Suikoden 2 relocalization count. Shy Guy 32 also points out that Shu is wearing nice loafers in his character art. I don't like loafers. Just not a loafers guy. Flipminic says Shu is Radat's Patrick Bateman. That's actually pretty good. I don't know if he's murdering people or not.
Well, he will.
Yeah. Speedline says Luca Blight is a Luca on this land. Mr. Slyke says Shu is a fucking war profiteer. Tokame says he's heartless. Shy Guy 32 says Shu. Can't wait for him to get Shusified. Trucified.
I do like shoe puns.
Yeah. Flipminic says, I assume Shu was naturally callous, and Matthew probably expelled him when he started being too facts and logic.
Yeah, that fits.
Matt Cat says, ODE, ordinary differential equations to be distinguished from PDE, partial differential equations.
That's basically what I said.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Flipminic says, plot twist, it's always the puppy speaking. Shy Guy 32 posts a picture of Krang.
Oh, God.
Shy Guy 32 says, something tells me the Fuckhouse Inn isn't just an inn.
It might be something else.
Could be. Mr. Slyke says, hard-boiled eggs stink.
I used to like them. I don't really like them anymore.
Mr. Slyke says, I traded Suikoden 2 for Fear Effect back in 1999.
Oh.
That's a pretty rough one. Yeah, please submit your bad beats, your bad video game trading beats.
Ugh.
Matt Cat says, Shu's moralism conveniently suits his interests. Matt Cat says, onomatopoeia oddly varies between cultures. Ask Japanese people what sound cats make.
Yeah.
Matt Cat says, characters in fiction will conveniently avoid explaining their motivations in order to draw out more dramatic conflict and keep the stakes from collapsing. Flipminic says, I think Shu did the swap. Richmond put an actual coin in because he's a magical problem solver, which is why we don't see it. It would spoil the twist. This might be a weird translation. I don't know if Shu's referring to Matthew expelling him and Apple giving him the cold shoulder, or if it was literally, it's so cold. Why did you do this sluice gate thing? Yeah, that was a little odd. Okay, that's all we have for the RealNet this morning. Thank you, Morning RealNet, for joining us. I appreciate it. We appreciate it. This episode is a production of Retrograde Amnesia, recorded on August 21st, 2022. Find us on Twitter at RetroAmnesiaPod. Email podcast@retrogradeamnesia.com. And if you want, support us on Patreon at patreon.com/retroam and get all the stuff that we offer. Tell a friend. Share the podcast. Share the sounds. Thank you, Mark, for the intro music.
You're welcome, Chris.
Until next time, Eric.
I hope we kill Shu.
We probably won't. Now you may go back to sleep.
Yeah, they practice there on Saturday, and then Tom Sawyer the rest of the week. Okay, who wants to hear more about my kids? No one.
Childsports.com.
Let's record a podcast. Oh, do you have any more bits?
No.
Shit.
I mean, we can talk about the ODE and the Saturn. You want to do that?
Wearing a pink shirt underneath a long overcoat. No. Fuck it. Cut
A
that.
long dark coat.
No. He's wearing... Yes. Isn't there a movie called Hard Boiled? It's like a John Woo movie or something. Should I ask the fake
I
net?
mean, we talked about John Woo in the previous podcast, right? Like, is Hard Boiled not the fucking Chow Yun Fat? Yeah, isn't that like the prototypical John Woo? God damn it, dude.
Yeah, I think that's the Chow Yun
Midway made the sequel to it in video game form, and it came with the Blu-ray of Hard Boiled. Yeah.
Okay, we figured it out without the fake
Great.
net. Thanks,
Thank you.
fake net. Yeah, the video game was like a not Max Payne.
Yeah, well, no, the video game had like sliding over table technology.
Yeah,
it was like your hips were roller skates for some reason.
It was the
You'd blow up everything.
It was the sliding over table technology that was removed from the bouncer.
Yes,
from the original.
They implemented it with the power of the PlayStation 3, the power of the cell processor.
Great. I'm
What
glad
the
we
fuck was that game called?
I think it was just called Hard Boiled 2.
No, it wasn't called. It was called like Time
Cop.
It was called with this bankrupted Midway. The fuck, man! I have to look that. I can't wait for FakeNet. I need to look up what
Okay.
that video game was called.
All right.
John Woo game. Stranglehold.
Yeah, Flip Minix just got that in the real net as well. Yeah, Stranglehold. How did I play? Was there a demo of that?
Yes.
Okay, that's why
I played it. I never played the full game. I played the demo.
I know I've played it. Huh. Well, cool. Well, God bless the hold. Yeah, I know. Rock and Roll Racing is a better game. Like, this game is a pretty decent fighting game for a Super Nintendo game that I played a bunch. But at that time, I didn't have the money to pay $80 or whatever they wanted for it. So,
Chris's last important trade was 28 years ago, folks. Quarter century.
Yeah. Can't think of anything else. No, what about you? You have any important trades?
There was a question on Jeff, we'll probably cut this, on Jeff Kurtzman's show about someone wrote in, like, what is the weirdest video game shit you've ever given a guy $100 for?
Okay.
Which is a great...
yeah, I remember that.
It's just a really great question. Like, I've paid a guy $100 for the ODE in your Saturn, for the ODE in my 3DO. Like, I've traded weird digital currency for strange, like, esoteric handmade video game parts.
Okay. It's pretty good.
It's my last important trade.
I'm looking around. Can't think of anything else. No. Okay, well, that was good.
It fucking sneaks up on me, too. I'm like,
Yeah.
no. Oh. Nanami asked Shu, nope.
Her arc has not started to trickle up. Not trickle. Her arc has not started to ascend. Would you like to hear some hot sounds that Mark recorded?
As long as you play Bug 2.
Bug 2, like Bug from...
No, Bug. Sega's classic Bug. Remember? Ice Cube wore the Saturn on his head to advertise Bug. You don't know about Bug?
I don't know anything about Bug.
Fuck.
Sega!